when iPhone 7 or 8 or something else comes, and this again goes down. So you go through this peak of inflated expectations, then you go through a trough of disillusionment. You realize that it's not all that great after all, and perhaps what your grandfather did was the better thing to do. Then you become mature. From that level, you come down to this level. Then once again you go up slowly, and by which time, of course, you develop white hair, and then we have what is called the slope of enlightenment and the plateau of productivity. So these are cycles through which everything goes. Now, the engineers play a very, very important role. You need to talk to each other. One machine needs to talk to each other. Unfortunately, purely for commercial reasons, Siemens will not give its basic code or to Toshiba or to Mitsubishi or to Philips or to any other company. So if you have a Mitsubishi CT scan, it will not be compatible with the Toshiba MRI, it will not be compatible with the Siemens ECG and so on. So to bridge this gap, an organization called Continua Alliance, over the last few years they have spent enormous effort and time, and slowly they are trying to bridge the gap. So now standards have been devised for personal health devices. So these are the various devices. Can you switch off this light also? The light in the front, please. So here we talk of a personal area network, and 2G, 3G, 4G is going to happen maybe in a year or 2 years. So we have such devices. Now again, you are all aware of SaaS, software as a service. You don't have to buy Microsoft Office, you don't have to buy PowerPoint and so on. Every time you want to make a PowerPoint slide, you download the software and you'll be paid for it. 3 days ago in Delhi, I listened to a presentation by a young guy, 25 years old, startup company. It was absolutely fantastic. He showed us lift to be used as a service. Now, when you have a 20-story building or a 15-story building, I stay in the first floor, I hardly use the lift. The guy who's in the 15th floor uses the lift many times. So why should we divide it equally the cost of the lift? So what he has devised is, he has devised an application stored on his mobile phone with a sensor. So every time you enter into the lift guy knows exactly that occupant number 15C in the 15th floor entered the lift such and such a time, etc., etc. At the end of the month you get a bill that you used the lift 382 times, that after Ganapathy is staying in the first floor used the lift 3 times, therefore I am charged 3 rupees, he is charged 382 rupees. This is technology, this is innovation, this is out of the box thinking. How many, I would never have thought of this. He not only thought of this, he has made it happen. So this is the future. Everything is going to be paid per use, whatever it is. The government is looking at it, and this 2-day conference which I am talking about, there were many senior government officers, and I was absolutely thrilled that the Ministry of Information Technology has made a committee. I am a member of that committee on M2M in healthcare. They have already started planning standardization on machine to machine in healthcare. So this is what is going to happen. Next slide. Now, this is actually about 4 years old, and I am very happy that the cruder version of this was available in Coimbatore by one of my good friends. He started this more than 10 years ago. Just look at the quality of the picture. It's absolutely fantastic. You can see inside the interior of the stomach. You can go to the small intestine. You can even go into the large intestine. The latest will go into the large intestine. The world is becoming busier and busier. I don't have time even to go to a doctor to get an endoscopy done. Even if I suspect I have a cancer stomach, I just don't have the time or the inclination. So what do? I swallow a capsule, and this is the capsule I swallow. The capsule contains all this, a magnet, electromagnet, LEDs, etc., etc., and then it takes 32 megapixel images per second. It takes about 6 minutes probably to go from you swallow till you excrete it, and in that 6 minutes you get about 30,000 paragraphs. These 30, so what you do is you swallow the capsule, the toilet, take out you have to collect the capsule and send the capsule to the laboratory for post-defecation analysis. And this is what is done. So like this is going to happen. important more and more. I am absolutely thrilled by this. This is now available in India. We are going to start using this at an altitude of 16,000 feet in Himachal Pradesh from April. Point of care diagnostics. You're all familiar with the glucometer. Imagine instead of blood glucose, you will be able to diagnose cholesterol, triglyceride, serum calcium, phosphorus, molybdenum, selenium, whatever you want. And if any of you are thinking of starting a biochemistry laboratory 10 years from now, please don't do it. There will be no place for biochemistry laboratories 10 years from now. I guarantee you that, because 95% of what you have to go to a biochemistry laboratory to do, you can do it from anywhere in the world. Of course, it is a little expensive. The equipment costs about 80,000 rupees to 1 lakh. Each of this is just like a memory stick which you see, you're all familiar. So you have separate memory sticks for cholesterol, triglyceride, renal function test, urea, creatinine, liver function test, SGPT, SGO, serum amylase and so on and so forth. Everyone, the actual cost, the actual cost of if you buy it will be about 150 to 200. So probably for about 400 to 500 rupees, you can get renal function test, liver function test, etc. Certainly slightly less than the laboratory charges. But what is spectacular is that this is called POCD, point of care diagnostics. These are all Bluetooth enabled. So imagine if I had 100,000 of this, I could go to 100,000 villages. The villager need not go to 50 kilometers to go to a laboratory. And I don't need fasting blood sugar. I do an HbA1, glycosylated hemoglobin, which is much more sensitive than a fasting blood sugar. So this point of care diagnostics is what is going to happen in the future. In 1968, when I first joined the Madras Medical College as a 69 as a second year student, I so vividly remember, most of you would not have been born, the assistant professor told me to go to the laboratory on the side and to smell a test tube containing urine. That was how we were introduced to medicine. And this was a diabetic patient, urine sugar was very high, urine acetone was very high. We don't see all that nowadays, but those days things were totally different. And all of us were actually smell the fruity odor because of the presence of acetone in the urine. Never in my wildest dreams I would have thought I'm mad if I had said that, what, 46 years later. 46 years later, we now have an electronic nose which can sniff out cancer. These are still in the experimental stage, but by the time you become entrepreneurs, I'm sure this will be commercially available. You can see this is from Harvard Medical School, prostate cancer, etc. And this will be connected to a phone, so a smartphone will have an application and you will actually be able to sniff out. Today it is officially available and it is accepted as well. There are dogs in the United States which have been trained, and lot of dogs can sniff, make out what my nose cannot make out. They are byproducts of certain types of lung cancer. When the carbon dioxide which you exhale has certain chemicals of an order of 1 per million parts per molecule, something like that, which they are able to make out. So this is what is going to happen in the future. Breast cancer is a very, very major problem. This is just going to be commercially available soon. A woman just wears this, and based on the heat generated, you will be able to actually, the trend analysis, etc. Once you see that the heat is becoming a little more, there is a possibility you may be having a growth, then you go and have a screening done. Next one. Now I could go on and on. Most of you know that in the earlier days, when you are between the age of 15 and 25, you experiment with marijuana, you experiment with, of course, alcohol and various other things, etc. Now, instead of going into a high, instead of getting elated by taking these drugs, today what you can do is You have devices in your phone, which you can see here. They have already started funding it with a wearable device. A wearable device sends currents to targeted parts of your brain to alter your mood. So this is what is going to happen in the future. If you are feeling terribly depressed and you just want to commit suicide, you want to end life, you are desperate, all you do is get onto this application. It will send you some electric current and it's a mood elevator. So instead of a psychiatrist prescribing drugs, antidepressants and mood elevators, this is what is going to happen in the future. A helmet which lets you hear your thoughts. The experience helmet can boost self-awareness by giving you an audio tour of your thought processes. The very process of thinking has been dissected into such minor components. Today, functional MRI has shown exactly which part of the brain is responsible for conjugating adverbs. What is the difference between an adverb, a verb, a conjunction, a preposition, a noun and a pronoun, etc., etc. To that great detail, these are all available. And once we know that, you can wear this helmet and you will be able to actually simulation of what is happening inside your brain. As I am talking to you now with a word output of more than 60 to 80 words per minute, continuously I am talking. I mean, there are millions of things which are happening inside my brain. And today it is possible to fathom out this and say exactly what is what. One of the things where I have been very actively involved in my former avatar as a neurosurgeon is helmets. I have actually appeared before a division bench of the High Court of Madras when I was president of the Neurological Society of India to make helmets mandatory. Unfortunately, most of you people, I don't know about you, but generally speaking, college students still don't wear helmets. So now what is happening is, you will have a Bluetooth enabled audio visual thing inside your helmet. This has just been introduced 2 months ago, and this helmet warns you of potential accidents. You can see this complex diagram here. Here is a guy wearing the helmet. He is going like this, and when he is wearing the helmet, if a vehicle tries to overtake him either on the left or on the right or at a junction, whatever it is, there is a sensor here, there is a camera here. The camera can actually go 360 degrees, and then I don't know enough of engineering to understand all this, but all I know is you will get a message on your helmet saying, look, in exactly 27.3 seconds you are going to dash against a car which is coming 37.2 degrees to your right, 43.2 degrees to your left, etc., etc. Stop now. That is what is going to happen. Not only are you going to be told about it, the car in which I am driving, can you make out this? The car in which I am driving, driverless cars are a reality today. It is not Google alone. There are at least 3 other companies in the UK which are testing. My son works in Google incidentally. So in California, the state of California has licensed driverless cars. Today you can see driverless cars going about. This is no longer experimental, it's a fact of life. Similarly, you can see in the windscreen here, this windscreen 2015 Volvo car. If you think I'm bluffing, just go ahead and Google, you will find out psfk.com. So the windscreens of cars manufactured from 2016 probably, I just forgot what it's called, whatever you call your, there's some technical term I forgot, your laptop screen, whatever it is. So the windshields will be made of that screen, so that on the screen will appear an image, a signal which will be sent. So a signal will appear on the screen telling very clearly that a cyclist is coming, the same thing, 7.5 feet behind that thing, this thing, etc. And therefore you are asked to do this. If you don't take corrective action, the computer inside the car will overrule the decision of the driver, and you will find that the brake is applied, no more accelerators those days, and the car will come to a stop taking into account the fact that there is a car behind you, and if you suddenly stop the car, there will be a pile-up of accidents. So this is the technology which is already available at the moment. Again, Jaguar, Volvo, Jaguar. Jaguar offers spidey sense to avoid nearby cyclists. So in a pedestrian crossing, you can see here, alert on the windscreen will be a cycle bell. I mean, the way they have done it. So based on the type of sound you hear, you will know it's a cycle which is coming at the back. If it is a motorcycle, you get the appropriate audio video. If it is a car, you have a pedestrian, whatever it is. So here you can see a visual representation, alert a cycle bell. The windshield frame changes colors. The windshield changes colors. The windshield changes colors from yellow to red as the cyclist draws nearer, and a ringing plays over the car's speakers. If a cyclist is passing a stopped car, the driver's door handle will light up, warning him not to open the door. If a car is approaching a crosswalk or intersection, the acceleration pedal will vibrate. The acceleration pedal will vibrate to alert the driver